Before we dive in, if you enjoy powerful stories like this one, please consider liking this video. It really helps the channel grow and brings these stories to more people who need to hear them. Thank you so much. It means a lot. For 10 years, I believed I was living the dream. My name may not be plastered on magazine covers, but I built a quiet empire. A logistics company that started in my garage and slowly grew into a regional powerhouse. Long hours, missed weekends, and more red-eye flights than I could count, but I did it for one reason. My family, my wife, Elena, was my high school sweetheart. The kind of woman who made scrambled eggs on Sunday mornings and sang to our daughter while brushing her hair. Our daughter, Sophie, just 6 years old, was the light of my life. Every morning before I left for work, she'd wrap her tiny arms around my leg and say, "Bring me a surprise, Daddy." I always did. We had matching pajamas for Christmas, movie nights every Friday, and inside jokes no one else would understand. From the outside, we were what people envied. On the inside, I thought we were even better. So when the opportunity came to expand operations to 3 new cities, I hesitated. It meant being away for 3 whole months. I sat down with Elena. "I don't want to be away that long," I told her. "But this could change everything for us. A second home, college funds, less stress down the road." She smiled, gently touched my hand, and said, "Go build the future. We'll be right here waiting when you come back." That sentence, those 10 words, I clung to them every lonely night on the road. I sent postcards to Sophie from every city, picked out a beautiful music box for Elena in Chicago, kept a journal to give them when I got back, documenting every win, every frustration, and every little thing I wanted to tell them in person. And finally, after 3 months, I returned home. Luggage in one hand. A stuffed elephant for Sophie is in the other. I was smiling before I even opened the front door, but something felt wrong the moment I stepped inside. The house was quiet. Too quiet. No little feet running across the hardwood floors. No smell of fresh laundry or candles burning. Just silence. I called out, "Elena? Sophie?" No answer. Then I noticed it on the dining table, placed neatly between the salt and pepper shakers. A manila envelope. My name is typed across the front. Inside, divorce papers. My knees buckled. I sat in the chair where Sophie used to do her coloring and read every word in disbelief. No explanation. No goodbye, just legal jargon and a pen. I ran upstairs and her side of the closet was empty. Drawers open, Sophie's room. Half her toys were gone. Her blanket. The photos on the wall. Gone. They didn't just leave the house, they'd vanished. Like I was the one who didn't belong anymore. And in that moment, all the years of sacrifice, love, and trust collapsed into one silent, hollow room. I thought I had the perfect life. But I came home to a nightmare I never saw. I stood in that empty house for hours. I called her over and over. No answer. Finally, I called her sister. She hesitated, like she knew something I didn't. "Elena said you'd probably be confused," she finally said. "But she's made up her mind. She's moved out." Moved out? Just like that? With our daughter? I didn't even get to hug Sophie. Didn't even get to say goodbye. Panic set in like wildfire. I wasn't just blindsided, I was completely erased. That night I drove to her parents' house. Her car was parked outside. My hands were shaking as I knocked on the door. No answer. So I waited. I waited almost 2 hours in the cold until the porch light flicked on. The door creaked open, and there she was. Elena, standing there like I was a stranger. I stepped forward. "Elena, what's going on? Where's Sophie? Let me talk to her." But she blocked the doorway. "I don't think that's a good idea," she said flatly. "She's asleep. She's my daughter," I shouted. "You can't just vanish with her." Her eyes were cold, Like all the warmth, the memories, the life we shared, had been switched off. "Leave before I call the police," she said. I laughed, not because it was funny, but because it was insane. "You're threatening to call the cops. On your own husband?" Then she dropped the hammer. "We're separated, and I've already filed a restraining order." I stepped back like I'd been punched in the gut. That's when he appeared. Her new man. This smug, stocky guy I'd never seen before, standing behind her in pajama pants, scratching his chest like he lived there. "Elena, everything okay?" he asked casually, like I was some door-to-door salesman. "Elena? Who the hell is this?" I growled. She didn't answer. So I did something stupid. I pushed past her and lunged at him. He smirked, like he wanted it to happen. I landed one clean punch to his jaw before he stumbled back and yelled, "Call the police!" And she did. 5 minutes later, I was face down on the ground in handcuffs, charged with assault. I spent 7 days in a holding cell, eating cold sandwiches and trying to sleep under flickering lights, while some guy 2 bunks over screamed all night, all while Elena used that moment, the moment she engineered as evidence in court. "He's violent," she told the judge. I was scared for my daughter. He showed up uninvited, unhinged. There were no text messages to defend me, no proof that she'd ghosted me and baited me into that reaction. Just a clean record shattered by one moment of fury. By the time the divorce finalized, she had full custody of Sophie. I wasn't just kicked out of my home. I was declared dangerous, unfit, forgotten, and the man who slept in my bed, he got the life I built. For the next 2 years, I stayed in a small apartment downtown. 1 bedroom, a couch that folded into a bed. I didn't decorate. I didn't entertain. I just existed. Every morning I'd wake up to silence. No pitter-patter of Sophie's feet. No laughter. No reason to cook pancakes on Sunday. Just cold air and court-ordered loneliness. I tried. God knows I tried. I filed motions to see my daughter. I wrote letters, stacks of them. I even had a children's therapist testify on my behalf. But Elena, she made sure I stayed in the shadows. She painted herself as the victim, and me as the violent ex who couldn't be trusted. Her attorney made sure the court saw only one side. I was allowed supervised visits once every 2 months. 2 hours in a sterile room with a child I used to tuck in every night. Now she looked at me like I was just someone from a memory she couldn't quite remember. "Hi, Daddy," she'd whisper, like she wasn't sure if she was allowed to say it. Each time she left, I sat in my car and cried like a man who'd lost everything. But I never gave up. While Elena played house with her new man, the same man I punched 2 years earlier. I poured everything into rebuilding my company. I worked late nights, hired the best talent. I didn't date, didn't party. My friends said I was wasting the best years of my life trying to undo a past I couldn't change. But I wasn't trying to undo it. I was preparing for something bigger. I watched from a distance as Elena paraded her shiny new life on social outings and PTA meetings. I heard through mutual contacts that the man, her affair partner turned new husband, had launched a luxury car startup. Great pitch, terrible execution. Over time, cracks began to show. The money wasn't flowing the way it used to. The business wasn't scaling. And her Instagram? Went from vacation photos to nothing but filtered selfies and vague quotes about struggles making you stronger. I smiled quietly to myself. I didn't need to throw punches anymore. Time was doing the work for me. Then, one morning, just another Monday at my downtown office, I was reviewing interview schedules for new hires. My company had grown. New departments, more staff. We were hiring a regional sales manager. I flipped to the next resume, and my heart stopped. His name was on the paper. The same man who stole my wife, my daughter, my life. Now, he was applying for a job at my company. Same industry, same city, but clearly not the same man. The irony? He had no idea who owned the company. I couldn't believe it. 2 years ago, this man walked into my life like a wrecking ball, destroyed my family, humiliated me in court, stood in my living room in my clothes, with my wife on his arm. And now, he needed me. His resume was desperate, embellished, scattered, barely held together by buzzwords and outdated job titles. Still, I told my assistant to schedule the interview. I had to see this for myself. The day arrived. I sat in the executive boardroom, glass walls, modern finishes, everything he probably imagined himself walking into as a powerful applicant. He stepped in, holding a thin portfolio, wearing an off-the-rack suit and nervous smile. Then he saw me, his eyes widened, like he'd seen a ghost. He froze in place, jaw slightly open, a bead of sweat already forming at his temple. I smiled, calm, silent. Let it sink in. Please, I said, gesturing to the chair across from me. Have a seat. He sat slowly, his fingers trembling as he fumbled with his papers. I didn't speak right away. I let the silence stretch, like a tightrope under his feet. Finally, I asked, "So, tell me why you think you'd be a good fit for my company." He blinked. "Your company?" I leaned forward, resting my elbows on the table. "That's right. I built this from the ground up, while you were busy stealing what I already had." The color drained from his face. I didn't know. I swear. I didn't. I cut him off. "You didn't know it was mine, or you didn't care 2 years ago when you moved into my house, wore my robe, and coached my daughter to call you Dad?" He looked down, humiliated. His voice cracked. Look, man, things, didn't go how we planned. The business I started tanked hard. We've been struggling. I just wanted a fresh start." That's when the phone in the boardroom buzzed. I answered on speaker. "Mr. Grayson, there's a call holding. It's your ex-wife again." I looked him dead in the eyes as I said, "Tell her I'll call her back after the interview." He flinched. I turned back to him. "So tell me, what makes you think I owe you anything?" He didn't have an answer. Just sat there ashamed, broken, completely disarmed. I stood up. "This interview is over." He stood too, eyes desperate now. "Please, we've got bills. Elena, she's not doing well. We're falling apart, man." And in that moment, I saw it. The cracks, the fear, the weight of his choices finally crushing him. He looked like a man being eaten alive by the very life he fought so hard to steal. As he walked out, shoulders slumped, I didn't feel pity. I felt peace. The tables had turned, and I wasn't finished yet. What would you do in my shoes? Hit the like button if you are still here. The second half gets even darker. That night my phone rang again. Unknown caller. I knew exactly who it was. I let it ring the first time, then again. The third time I answered, but didn't speak. Just listened. The voice on the other end? Elena. The woman who once stood behind a restraining order like a wall. Now she sounded like someone fumbling in the dark, looking for a light switch. Her voice had changed. No confidence, no control. Just quiet desperation. I said nothing. I heard about today. I heard. You saw him. At the interview. Still nothing. She chuckled nervously, trying to play it casual. Crazy, huh? Small world. I finally spoke. Cold. Flat. What do you want, Elena? A pause. Then the floodgates opened. We're not doing well, she admitted. The business went under months ago. Investors pulled out. We're behind on rent. Creditors are calling every day. He's not handling it well. I've been looking for work too, but Sophie misses you. That last part? That was calculated. She was dangling my daughter like bait. I want to see her, I said. Another pause. She wasn't expecting me to turn it around that fast. I'm not sure that's a good idea right now, she said cautiously. You know the court? Elena, don't play dumb, I snapped. You called me. You need something. Silence, then, finally, the truth. I was wondering if you could help us out. Just a little. A short-term loan, maybe. Or even give him a chance at the company. He's trying. We're both just really overwhelmed right now. I laughed. A cold, hollow laugh. You burned the bridge, Elena. Then you danced in the ashes. I know, she whispered. I know I messed up. But Sophie, she deserves better. She needs stability. You can give her that. I leaned back, letting the weight of her words settle. She thought she was bargaining, but I saw the desperation behind the mask. She wasn't offering my daughter out of love. She was trying to unload a burden, just long enough to breathe, so I made her an offer. I'll take Sophie. Full custody. No back and forth, no drama. I'll hire a lawyer to file the papers tomorrow. Her voice cracked. That's permanent. Yes, it is. Weeks went by. At first, she resisted, but the pressure mounted. Bills, tension at home, and the man she threw everything away for was unraveling. Eventually, she agreed. And the day Sophie came home with me, I didn't cry. I didn't smile. I just held her close and whispered, "Daddy's here." She nodded, and for the first time in years, she looked safe. I gave her a room filled with everything she loved: books, stuffed animals, a piano. She laughed again, and every laugh she let out was one less Elena would ever hear. After I got full custody of Sophie, it was like someone flipped a switch. My world? Peaceful, focused, full of laughter again. Their world? Imploding. I didn't have to spy. I didn't stalk her online. I didn't need to. The cracks became visible. Sophie mentioned the tension first, innocently. "Mommy and that man fight a lot," she said one night while eating mac and cheese. "He yells at her. She cries in the bathroom." I didn't respond. I just nodded and passed her the juice box. The man Elena destroyed everything for? The one she replaced me with? He'd become exactly what he always was. A fraud. He hadn't just lost a business. He lost credibility. Investors blacklisted him. Former partners sued him. Rumor was he forged numbers to fake traction during his last funding round. And Elena? She was now just another ex-wife in waiting. No longer the adored seductress who traded up. She reached out once more. She didn't even ask about Sophie. She asked if I'd be open to grabbing coffee. Coffee? Like we were old friends, catching up after a rough patch. I replied with one sentence. There's nothing left to discuss. That was the last time I ever heard her voice directly. But what I did hear, from mutuals, from whispers, from people who were once on her side, was better than any court ruling. They were fighting constantly. The neighbors had called the cops, more than once, not because of me this time, but because of him. Loud shouting, broken dishes, doors slammed in the middle of the night. Their once picture-perfect romance had turned into a horror show of blame, regret, and resentment. She'd look him in the eyes and see a man who failed her. He'd look at her and see the life he ruined to chase her. Mutual destruction. And the best part? I didn't lift a finger. Every cruel word Elena ever threw at me in court. Every time she told the judge I was unfit. Every moment she let that man smile while I sat in jail. It was now crushing her slowly from the inside out. Sometimes karma doesn't need a grand finale. Sometimes it's just life going on without you. I'd walk past people now, parents at school events, staff in the office, and they'd smile and nod. "You're doing such a great job with your daughter. She's thriving." But Elena, she wasn't even showing up anymore. She'd vanished from Sophie's life, from mine, from the very world she thought she could control. And that was sweeter than revenge because it wasn't just about punishment, it was about removal. She didn't get a second chance, not with me, not with our daughter, not with life. It had been 6 months since Sophie moved in with me full-time. We were healing. And then, one evening, the past came knocking. Literally. I opened the door. There she was. Elena, worn down. Makeup smudged. Hair tied in a sloppy knot. No ring. No confidence. Just a faint hope lingering behind her tired eyes. "Can we talk?" she asked, eyes flicking toward the living room where Sophie's cartoons echoed softly. I stepped outside, closed the door behind me, crossed my arms. "No." She blinked. I wanted to see her. Talk to you. I know I messed everything up. Things haven't been the same." He left, packed a bag and said he made a mistake, took the last of the money and bailed. I stayed silent. She kept going. I thought he was everything, thought he loved me, but he turned bitter, angry, said I was damaged goods after the court drama, blamed me for everything falling apart. Her voice cracked. I didn't flinch. "Must have been hard," I said flatly. Tears welled in her eyes. "I just want to come back. Start over. For Sophie's sake. We can fix this, can't we?" She reached for my hand. I took a small step back. "No," I said. "We can't." Her lip trembled. "I made one mistake." "One?" I snapped. "You made 1,000 decisions, Elena. You left me, took my daughter, lied in court, had me locked up. You let him walk into our lives and replace me. That wasn't a mistake. That was war." "I was scared," she whispered. "No. You were selfish. And now you're just alone." She dropped her gaze to the ground. And in that moment, on my front porch, she broke. Truly broke. No more defenses. No more fake pride. Just a woman standing in the wreckage of her own choices. "I don't even know who I am anymore," she said quietly. I nodded. "That makes 2 of us. Because the woman I once knew, she passed away the day she handed me divorce papers on the dining table like they were takeout menus." Silence. She tried again. One last swing. "Sophie needs a mother." I looked her straight in the eye. "No. Sophie needs peace. And she finally has it." I opened the door behind me. "Go home, Elena. Whatever that means now." She stood there, for a moment, then turned and walked away. No fight left. Just the sound of her footsteps fading into nothing. I closed the door and locked it. For good. It's been over a year since Elena walked out of my life for good. Sophie's thriving. She's happy. She's mine now, not as some consolation prize, but because I was the one who chose her. Every day, I choose to be her father, to be the stability. I'm no longer a shadow in my own life. I'm standing in the center, and for the first time in a long time, I'm in control. I'm still single. No rush. I've rebuilt my life around my daughter, and I don't need anyone to complete me. I've learned that the real strength comes not from fighting for a broken relationship, but from knowing when to let go, when to walk away, when to shut the door forever. I don't think about Elena much anymore. She's just a footnote in a chapter I've already closed. Her desperation, her lies, her manipulation, they don't touch me anymore. Not the way they used to, but I do hear about her now. Through whispers at work. Through mutual friends. A few months ago I found out she's been spinning the story again, telling people she wasn't given a fair shot and that I took everything from her. She's still playing the victim. Still pretending she didn't make the choices that led to this disaster. And you know what? That's her life now. Her karma, but not mine. I learned something through all of this. Something I wish more people could understand. People will only do to you what you allow them to. When you let them steal your peace, your dignity, your family, it's because you haven't set your boundaries. But the moment you set them, that's when the real fight starts. And the moment I took back control, that's when I won. The real victory? It's not about hurting them back. It's about walking away and finding the strength to never look back. So, to anyone out there who's struggling with betrayal, deceit, or the feeling of being trapped by your past, I'm telling you now, you don't have to stay in a broken story. You don't have to keep giving them the power to destroy you. You are in charge of your narrative. You get to write the ending. If you've been in a toxic relationship, if you've felt like you've been the one left to pick up the pieces, take it from me. Let them go. Take back your life, your peace, your power. Hit subscribe if you believe cheaters always lose. Drop a like and comment if karma served cold is your favorite dish. Until I see you with another epic story tomorrow, you take care.